So I just got back to my apartment. This is like literally a couple days before the end of June that I'm recording this, and I've been out of my house since like the first week of June. I've been out of state, and I 100% underestimated how many like packages of manga I bought. If you would like to know the damages, this over here, it's and let me tell you, this doesn't even count the Right Stuff birthday sale. Okay, so first up, I just want to do this really big one at first. This is an entire 23 volume series, completely up to date. It's not like a finished series, I'll tell you as I'm showing you. I have all 23 volumes of Gintama. Gintama, a beloved comedy kind of, I think it's like fantasy series that a lot of people, a lot of people have been recommending. Now, when I say that this is complete up to date, there are only 23 volumes of this series currently released in the United States. All 23 have been released, and I think the last one that was released was like 2011, according to when I looked earlier, if I believe. There are 77 volumes that were made in Japan, but I don't know, I personally don't know why. I haven't done much investigating as to why the series hasn't printed anymore since 2011. This is an old Viz series, I would say. Viz Media right there, right there. Disregard my ugly fingers. A lot of my friends are like, Jake, you love comedy, you love action, you love fantasy, you will like Gintama. And so Mary Manga earlier, they are a company, kind of a relatively new manga online selling company. Someone that I know, Manga Alerts over on Twitter, they did like a review of Mary Manga and their sales website XYZ, and they really enjoyed the company. So when I saw that Mary Manga said they had 2 complete 23 volumes, 2 copies of each volume of Gintama on sale on their website, I decided, you know what, they're lower than MSRP, it's pretty cheap, it's great to get it all in one volume and in good condition. So I said, you know what, I'm gonna buy it. Sure, go ahead and send it to me, and it came in a really quick time. So huge thank you to Mary Manga for that as well, and it's come in like good condition, no damage. I really like the packaging, things like that. So that was a big steal. This was one of the more exciting ones that I got this month, in my personal opinion. So this isn't an advertisement or anything. They didn't send this to me for free. I bought it, but if you want to get manga for pretty cheap and a decent selection, Mary Manga. I plan on doing a review video of Gintama as well, so let me know down in the comments if you'd like to see that, or any other series that I have. Okay, now we're gonna get into the new releases though. Stuff that has released like within the past month or so that I picked up, whether that was pre-orders or just stuff that I know recently came out and I just picked up at a Barnes & Noble, including this one. I just picked this up earlier, the Yakuzas Bias. This is a fun series from what I've heard. It's like a Yakuza goes to this guy's K-pop concert and then he becomes like a K-pop fan. Kind of like a fun side of like Yakuza or Hitman stuff is really in the loop right now with like Sakamoto Days, the Geek X Hitman, Spy Family even can fall under the category. So like this is another series and another installment. And I've heard several people hype up this series. I think the Omnibus Collector is a big fan of this. So I decided, you know what, to pick it up. And this manhwa right here, Eyes Press, is a business proposal. I saw a lot of people talk about this when this was first released and hype it up. I believe that this is like an adult office series. So like if you read this, you know, being worked at the office job, meeting longtime crush's girlfriend, helping pay off the family debt. She's 03, work, love, and money, but they make a deal. Hefty compensation. Turns out the compensation is the CEO with a proposal of his own. So very interesting. It's interesting as well because like I started reading the Yakuza's Fiance, which is another kind of like series where it's like a setup kind of marriage or relationship kind of thing. And although I don't know if a business proposal is as intense with like the Yakuza's Fiance heavily dealing with like the Yakuza, it does seem to be interesting. And I like the art. I like like these characters and their designs. I think it's very pretty. So I'm curious to see how this goes. This next section of the new releases is going to be a little bit interesting. Not something a lot of people are probably used to in like manga and light novels, and something that really piqued my curiosity. I saw the movies of To Every You I've Loved Before, and then To Me, the One Who Loved You. And then I bought these novels because I enjoyed the movies. If you do not know, this is like a parallel science fiction love story. With all the rage right now, especially in like Marvel and DC and stuff being like multi-universes, or like multiverse, I think it's specifically called. This is a story that plays on the idea of multiple universes as well. And these are two different stories. A lot of people will tell you, oh, you should watch or read this one before doing this one, or this one before that one. And personally, I don't have like a specific watch or read order on this in order for it to make more sense or to be more enjoyable. I think you can just start with whichever one you want. You can literally flip a coin, and I think you're gonna fall in the same conclusion on which you prefer is the order that you watch. I feel like whichever one you start first is what you feel like is going to be the watch order. So personally, I watched this one first, and then I watched this one. It was very good. It was very sweet. I really liked the story. I really liked the premise and how they brought up the idea of like two stories that are the same or being told in different ways. It's very abstract in my opinion, and it's something very interesting to me. So I highly recommend, if you're looking to blow off a couple hours, like I would say like 3 hours, 4 hours or so, you got nothing going on, just watch these movies back to back, whichever one you want. Or, you know, you can pick up these novels because these just recently released in the last month. They released at the same time, so you could probably find them, whether it's Right Stuff with the birthday sale, like a local bookstore like Barnes & Noble or Books A Million. You'll probably be able to pick these up easily. This also leads into another kind of parallel story, I think. I'm not sure. Even If These Tears Disappear Tonight. So longtime viewers may remember that Yen Press gifted me Even If This Love Disappears Tonight. And in this past month, I actually read that novel and I loved it. If you really like I Want to Eat Your Pancreas, any like Makoto Shinkai book with like Your Name, Weathering With You, or even like a lot of the Yoru Sumuno books like I Have a Secret or I Had That Same Dream Again, I think it's called, you will like this series. This is based off a super popular, I think a Japanese live action drama that was made. So this is a novel adaptation. And I read the first one and I read it and I really enjoyed it. And I saw that this was coming out and I was like, oh, this looks like really similar. This is the same style as the other book. You know, it's got a similar title as well. And it's by the same author. So I was like, sure, I'll pick this up. But then I started reading the premise and stuff. And I won't spoil anything what's in the first book because I think it kind of relates to the second book in terms of like how things go and things like that. So if you have read that book, then you can be reading this right now. But let me just tell you that again, with those recommendations that I gave, if you love those kinds of stories, you will like this book, probably, more than likely. I'm super curious about this. I'm super intrigued on this because I think this is also kind of a parallel story similar to the ones that I just showed previously. I think the two novels are ones that, like the other one, you can read like either or, and I think you'll be fine. I'm not 100% sure. This could also be a sequel because I think back here, because it literally says including the sequel, Even If These Tears Disappear Tonight, which is this book right here. So maybe it is a second one. I kind of recommend reading that first one, the other one that I put on screen that's on screen right now. I recommend reading this one first just because I haven't read this yet and I'm not 100% sure, but I have a weird feeling that this is gonna kind of be like parallel. I don't know. It's so weird and I'm so excited. I'm definitely making a video on just like parallel series in general. It's very odd. Okay, moving on with things. This is not parallel series. We got Maison Ikoku Volume 3. I love this series, and it's not because I actually haven't read any of it. It's because this looks so beautiful, and it's Rumiko Takahashi as well, so I'm pretty sure I will enjoy it. But these covers and this like series as well, how it looks is just beautifully done by Viz. These signature volumes are so pretty, especially these covers. I absolutely love this. I'm 3 volumes in now, so I need to start reading it and enjoying it because, you know, I think there's like 12 volumes in general. That's all of them that will release or have released and will release. I think it's done printing in terms of new releases. So I don't want to get too deep like I am with Rent a Girlfriend before deciding if I like it or not. Now, I will say I have read 18 volumes of Rent a Girlfriend. I have not read this volume 19. I literally just came home like today, opened the box and pulled this out. So I haven't read it yet, but Rent a Girlfriend, one of my like hot trash series, my beloved hot trash series. I don't even know if I like it, but it is one that I enjoy. It's a rom-com harem series, absolute trash. You've heard me talk about it before, and you've probably heard about it before, but you have maybe not heard of another harem hot trash series, which is Date A Live. So Date A Live, this is volume 9 of the novels. I got this. I love Date A Live. It's another one of my hot trash series that I guilty pleasure kind of love. It's just fun. It's just got that like fantasy kind of aspect that I really, really like in the series. And I am super enjoying it so far. And I'm looking forward to the next anime project as well, because the anime is farther. 4 seasons of the anime is farther than where the novels are right now. I think this is season 3 or 2. One of those two. It's not exactly yet in season 4 because this is Natsumi in the series. So I think it's like season 3, possibly. Not 100% sure, but it's... Now this one though, I have not read yet, but I have heard so many people talk about it. And I know so many people got this early as well. So you've probably heard of this series from a big time manga tuber or any manga tuber at this point. Because I think Eyes Press and Yen Press sent this series to a lot of people. It is JH's The Horizon. Now, if you remember, JH is a Korean mangaka, or what's the Korean term for mangaka? Is it, I don't even know, because this is manhwa. So anyways, the creator of The Boxer, a video that we put out over on that series, this is the same author. This is the same creator. And this is what I've been told is a beloved series. I know some people have said that they're not as much of a fan because I know this series, this volume is heavy on just illustrations, just panels in the manhwa, not so much text or dialogue, I believe. This is a post-apocalyptic series, I believe, where this boy and a girl, they're alone together and they just adventure and they just try to find like civilization. They just try to find people and stuff. And I have heard that this is a tough series as well. This is not for the faint of heart that I've heard. So be warned right now. I mean, I don't think it's like too insane like Boys Abyss or something like that, but I do hear that there is some tough stuff in this series. So I am super excited to read this. I will probably read this when I leave state tomorrow. At the time of this recording, when this video releases, I'll probably be out of state. Another novel that finishes off a 4-volume series that I absolutely adore and recommend. This is Vivi Prototype. This is novel volume 4. This is the final novel of the Vivi Prototype series. This was an anime. I don't know if the anime was first or the novel, but anyways, I watched the anime first and I like watched it all in like a day, 24 hours. It was so good. I absolutely loved this science fiction like coming of age story. This is about a robot AI trying to stop the robots from like taking over the world. The world and society has these kind of AI robots that are programmed to like do specific jobs in the world. So Vivi is like an entertainer. She's like an idol kind of deal. And so through this story, she kind of comes with her identity. She tries to beg the question of like the heart, you know, what is the heart and destiny and things like that. And so it's very, very good in my opinion. It has very, very good plot. It has very, very good beauty in it as well, in terms of like the animation, the music, the fight scenes as well. There is some action in this series. So that is part of the anime, and so we'll see how that is translated to words, but I have no doubt in my mind that Tabe Nagatsuki and Eiji Umehara, hopefully I pronounced that correctly, and Iondra have done an excellent job with this series. And now that I own all 4 volumes and it is complete and up to date and done, I need to read it. Just like I need to read volumes 11 and 12, the 6th omnibus of Tokyo Revengers. I really like the anime Tokyo Revengers. I super enjoyed the season. I even made a video on it way back in the day. So definitely like this series. I haven't caught up with the newest season, unfortunately, and I think this part of the manga as well is past what I know. So I really need to get into it. I really need to either watch the anime or just catch up on the manga, which will probably be the latter, to be honest, and see what Ken Wakui is cooking up in this story, this delinquent gang story. I mean, a lot of people like this series, so I recommend it. One that I super recommend, because I started watching the anime, and I think the anime is past this volume, Insomniacs After School Volume 2. This is so cute. I'm gonna throw up. This is a romance story. This is also kind of a drama as well, high school age drama, where both of these kids have insomnia for different reasons. And so their kinship has come together based on the fact of, you know, that they're insomniacs, and thus starts their adventure of, you know, kind of identity, dealing with insomnia, things like that, and also just growing closer together as time goes on. And it is so cute. I'm not done with season 1 yet. I think season 1 will be done, or at least 12 of the 13 episodes will have released at the time of this recording, maybe all of them, but I'm not up to date yet, so no spoilers in the comments, please. But I super love this series, and I can't wait to get into the manga too, because the manga, I mean, the anime is so beautiful. So I hope, especially because like the night is a huge factor in this series, like just nighttime, similar to Call of the Night, how the nighttime life is just beautiful. I'm hoping that Insomniacs After School does the same. A book that I have read though and can recommend is Good by Arie. So Tatsuki Fujimoto, the creator of Chainsaw Man, Fire Punch. This is just as heavy hitter with just like unsuspected twists and hits and punches. This is a one-shot series, so if you buy this, you will get everything in this series. This is kind of like very heavy on like the 4-panel, so it's a very, very quick and interesting read. It's like, when I say 4-panel, it's just like these 4 pages right here, and I believe there are some 1 full page ones, but I won't go into it, flip through it and explain it. But I really enjoyed this series. I think I gave it like a 7 or 8 out of 10. Good by Arie. I think it's one of his better one-shots. Like, I've read Look Back, I've read Just Listen to the Song. I think Good by Arie is probably one of my favorite one-shots that Tatsuki Fujimoto has placed. I'd probably put it, as of right now, because I haven't read Fire Punch yet, probably number 2 in my Tatsuki Fujimoto list, right behind Chainsaw Man. And when I say right behind, I mean far behind, because I mean, I love Chainsaw Man. Now, a series that I don't really recommend to people unless you can take a lot is Killing Stalking Volume 3. I have the sticky note here because he's kind of in his underwear, and I don't want to get demonetized, or I mean, I don't have monetization turned on anymore, but like, I don't want to get in trouble with YouTube. Anyways, this is the 3rd of 4 volumes that are planned on being released of this series by 7 Seas, I believe. This is an excellent series. It scares the living daylights out of me. It's dramatic. It's thrilling. It's really, really well written, in my opinion, and it's like screwed up. It is screwed up to all heck. If you love the screwed up stuff, this is also a boys' love too, so if you're into that, go for it. I enjoy this series, but I'm also terrified of this series. Like, I enjoy it, but I don't enjoy it, but I enjoy it enough to continue reading, and it's really, really good, I swear. I'm trying to go fast because like I got laundry going right now, and I want to have this done and recorded before laundry is done. So let's keep going with Mushoku Tensei Volume 22, the light novel. We're getting near towards the end of Mushoku Tensei, and I think I'm gonna wait to read it until the final volume releases, and then just read it all kind of more at once, and then make a video describing Mushoku Tensei, because I have a lot of thoughts on Mushoku Tensei, a lot of interesting thoughts I feel like about this series. This is a series that not everybody will love, in my opinion, because I have said this time and time again, so if you're a longtime viewer, I'm sorry that you're hearing this again. But Mushoku Tensei is a very big series on the coming of age. It is a series about self-improvement. You do not like the main character of the story in the beginning, and I know for a lot of people that's a deal breaker, and that's totally acceptable. But if you're kind of open-minded and you kind of accept the story and you accept the characters to their faults as they do in the stories, a lot of these characters, especially the main character, really tries to grow themselves and tries to become just a better person overall, because this is an isekai, so there are a lot of traits that he has from his previous life, because he is cognizant of his previous life, he is well aware of it, and so that plays a lot into the story and these characters. And it is not a perfect series. There are some things that can be done better in this series, but this is an excellent series. It's one of my favorite fantasies, arguably my favorite isekai of all time. I love the series. Another series that I love that is way more lighthearted, it is Futaria Escape. So Futaria Escape is a Yuri kind of like comedy. It's like a slice of life Yuri comedy. It's about I think she's a mangaka. It's been a while since I've read a volume of this. She's a mangaka and she is unemployed. They live together. I don't think they're like officially dating, but like, and they were roommates, like kind of thing, you know? So Futaria Escape, excellent, cozy, you know, comedy. If you love that type of stuff, you love just cute girls doing cute things, like this is it, moe type of stuff. It is just super lighthearted. It is super fun by Soichi Taguchi. I think there's only like 1 or 2 more volumes scheduled to release. It's a very short series. I think it's like only 4 or 5 volumes in total that will come out. So if you want something to read, pick that up. And I also recommend picking this up. This is Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop. This is the first volume of the manga. I think there's just going to be 2 volumes of the manga and then 1 novel as well, which both are released like really soon, like by the end of the year. I think the novel comes out in July and then the manga volume comes out like September. But anyways, this is adapted from a movie. So if you like something like Josie the Tiger and the Fish, this is something that you will enjoy, in my personal opinion. This is also really cute. The art is incredible in the movie. I saw it on Netflix when it first came out, and it was gorgeous. It was beautiful. The sound was great. The characters were great, in my opinion. The designs, things like that. Their story was really, really good. So I highly recommend Words Bubble Up Like Soda Pop if, again, you want just like a short, comfy series to read. Another series that I think is a short, comfy series that might only be just this 1 volume is SpiderMan Fake Red. So yes, I did see the new Spider-Man movie, and yes, I've been on kind of a Spider-Man kick, but this happened to come out in the month, and I've always enjoyed Spider-Man, so this was really cool to see a manga of SpiderMan Fake Red. This is about Japan's version of Spider-Man. What's his name again? Yukamori, I think his name is. I know his name has like a K word in it. But anyways, this is the same Spider-Man like character that they have been printing about since like the 1970s, I believe, when they looked it up. I can't remember what world he's in like the Spider-Man multiverse, but this is just another version of his like origin story, which is really, really cool in my opinion. You have this kid running around, you have Peter Parker as well, the original Spider-Man. You got Venom in here. You got I forget this guy's name and I forget this girl's name. It's been a little bit since I've read it, and I have done no notes leading up to this video because I need to get it done because I'm leaving state tomorrow again. But anyways, I really enjoyed this like Spider-Man story because like with a lot of origin Spider-Man stories, you know, you look at Peter Parker, you look at Miles Morales, right? A lot of these characters were bit by like a radioactive spider or things like that, and that's how they become Spider-Man. This is not the case for this character. I won't exactly spoil how he becomes Spider-Man, but I really thought it was like a refreshing story. I thought it was really good as well. I enjoyed this, and I thought there was going to be more of this story, but I think it's just going to be a one-of volume. It's a pretty thick volume too, I would say. I think it's just going to be a one-of volume because somebody told me on Twitter, I can't remember who, told me that this series was actually canceled when it was being published and printed. So unfortunate, that's just kind of what happens. Maybe the comic scene isn't really ready to jump into the manga scene, you know, the connection, and maybe the manga scene isn't really ready to get on Spider-Man, but I did enjoy the series and I thought it was pretty good. So if you're a Spider-Man fan, get it. I can't really recommend this series though, unless you just like straight up trash fun. This is Chain Soldier Volume 4. Excellent art in this series. Excellent action in this series. The characters are super goofy. The power system is also super goofy, especially the main character after battles. That is the goofiest part in this story, and which is why it is both wrapped and explicit content warning. This is slowly becoming like Rent a Girlfriend, Date Alive into like the trash harem stories that I just enjoy. Although I don't actually think that this is harem now that I think about it, because when we made the reading video, the like reading bingo video, I believe that Chain Soldier was not in the whatchamacallit, the harem category, which is surprising to me. But anyways, I really enjoyed the last volume that I read of Chain Soldier. I think the story is really kicking off in a lot of different aspects and can jump into a lot of complexities and branches of the plot with like different characters in the good guy cast as well as the bad guy cast. So I'm curious to see how this goes. I'm curious to see where this is, and I mean, I'll read this soon. I like it. Another series that's about to release its final chapter I saw on Twitter earlier today. It is Mashle Magic and Muscles Volume 12. So I've heard some decent things about the anime. I've heard that it's a decent adaptation so far in this story. And I know a lot of people are sad to see the final chapters coming of Mashle. I know we've heard about like the final saga, the final arc for a while now, like the past 4 to 6 months or so. And so we're coming near the end of this Harry Potter parody comedy story that is just awesome and action-packed. So if you want to watch Mashle, maybe see if like it's something that you enjoy, watch the first couple episodes of the anime, but I recommend reading the manga. I think the manga is excellent. I think it's so fun and so good. So check it out, as well as checking out Call of the Night. Now this one I actually recommend either reading or watching the anime adaptation. Now this is volume 12 of the manga, which is farther than the anime. So if you want to get all the way up to date, just read the manga. But if you want a taste maybe of what it is and you have a High Dive subscription, go check out the anime on High Dive. It is one of the better, like, beautiful anime adaptations, in my opinion. Just this beautiful series. It deals with vampires. It deals with nighttime. It deals with just coming of age as well. I feel like I've said coming of age like 18 times today, and it's excellent. I still need to read this volume. It's the only volume that I need to read in order to be up to date on the series, so no spoilers, but I absolutely love where this story is going. I thought like volume 11, 10 and 11 were excellent. I thought they were really cool, and even through like 12 volumes, like I'm not getting bored of this story. So I love this series. Moving on to other vampires and things that I recommend. Volume 9 of Case Study of Vanitas. Excellent series. Historical kind of vampire fantasy, supernatural is the word that I'm looking for, series. Now this, I believe, stops where the anime is, if memory serves correctly. I know this is part of the second season of the anime, and I'm like 90% sure when this stops, so does the anime where it is, and it moves on kind of like to the next arc. And I am so excited for the next anime project. I am so excited for volume 10, which I think was announced as well. Just keep giving me Vanitas, one of the more beautiful illustrated manga series, in my personal opinion. Still up there in like my top 5, top 10 most beautifully drawn and created stories. Right up there with like Farin, right up there with Chainsaw Man has really cool illustration and art, but for like different reasons than this. But this is absolutely beautiful. If you love supernatural, you love shipping any character with any character, like you love that kind of thing, this is up there for you. Speaking of shipping, moving into a rom-com, Cant Communicate Volume 25, the series that never ends, and just like Rent a Girlfriend, doesn't actually really progress. Although I will say that it has progressed a bit with the two main characters, in my personal opinion. No spoilers over here. I have not read volume 25, but I have read volume 24, and 24 was so freaking cute. And so was volume 23 and 22 and 21 and all the other volumes in this series. So if you want something more for the long haul, you want kind of like a slow burner as well that really just dips into the comedy and slice of life aspect, maybe not necessarily all the way into the romance side of things. You just like seeing people have fun, doing funny things, etc., etc. Cant Communicate is a volume for you. It is so fun and so good in my opinion. I absolutely love it. God, I love it. Just like I love this series, Machi, or Is It Wrong to Pick Up Girls in a Dungeon? This is another side story, Memoria free. So this is the same Machi story that we know and love with Belle Cronell and, oh my god, Hestia. I was gonna say, I have a figure of her right up here. If I don't remember her name, I'm a fake Machi fan. But from what I remember, this is a side story. This is an extra story based off of the mobile game, I believe it is. Now, I haven't really played the mobile game because my phone's not very good for mobile games, and I don't really like playing mobile games. But anyways, this is another just beautiful segment of the Machi series that I will definitely enjoy. This is volume 1, Holy Night Traumare, I think it is. Anyways, I'm excited to get into it. Another just Yen Press just keep pushing out these Machi things, whether it's the novels, whether it's the manga, you know, side story spin-offs, Familia Chronicle, all that stuff. Just keep pushing these out, Yen Press. I will just keep buying. If there is one Machi fan on this earth, it is me. Out of 1,000 Machi fans, I am one of them. If there are 0 Machi fans on this earth, I am dead. I love this series. I also really like this series, but this series has just started and I've only read 1 volume, but volume 2 just came out. Welcome to Demon School, Arumakun. This is a comedy series about a kid whose parents sell his soul to like a devil, you know, kind of thing, a demon. And the demon, he's a really goofy guy. He puts Arumakun in school, but here's the catch. In this world, in this universe, demons eat humans. So he's got to get by this school, making everybody think that he's also a demon when he's just a human. So there's a lot of comedy in the series. I really, really enjoyed volume 1. I had heard people talk about the anime and really hype up the anime, and I had never gotten into it, but when volume 1 released like a month ago or like 2 months ago, it was very, very recent. I was surprised how quickly volume 2 came out. When I heard about this series and saw it on the bookshelves when I was, I believe, in New York, I decided to pick it up and I read it, and I absolutely loved it. I thought it was so good. I thought it was so fun, enjoyable. I'm excited to read volume 2, and I hopefully the story keeps up with the comedy and just being itself. Another volume in series that I super enjoy is Farin and Beyond Journey's End. So I got to catch up with Farin. Now I have 2 volumes that I haven't read. I haven't read 7 or 8, but I just read volume 6. If you've been staying up to date on my Twitter, I've been tweeting about the books that I've been reading as of late. And I really, really enjoy Farin and Beyond Journey's End and where it's been at in terms of the story of the characters. This is also another one of those kind of slower series in terms of maybe not necessarily the plot, but this is like, let me just explain. So Farin is part of the heroes party, or was, and this story takes place after the heroes party vanquishes the Demon King. And so Farin, being an elf, as you can maybe tell by her ears there, she outlives her comrades in the heroes party. And so this story is about after that and learning to appreciate time, right? Because she will live to be thousands upon thousands of years old. So the human lifespan of, like, let's say 68 years, right? That's like the average lifespan of a human male. 68 years to her is a blink of an eye, just a shadow of a memory. So this story has a lot of understanding about just appreciating what you have now, looking back on the memories of their hero's adventure and coming to appreciate those as well. It is also one of the most beautifully illustrated series series that I have ever come across. I dare to say it's the most beautiful series that I have ever read. It is so good. It is so enjoyable. I super like it. So it also has some action in it and a lot of fantasy stuff as well. So if you like action, you like fantasy, but you also kind of like slower type things, not always action. It's not battle after battle after battle after battle, right? You like kind of that, not necessarily political setting, but how like Tensura Slime, that time I got reincarnated as a slime, has like kind of some slower aspects to it with like the political scene. If you enjoy slower aspects like that, then this is a series for you. Now, a series that is done but still keeps printing off the side story novels, it is Demon Slayer. This is Signs from the Wind. I love Demon Slayer. I've really been enjoying the recent season. I can't wait for more, and I own every single piece of media from Demon Slayer, but I haven't read it all yet because I've just really been liking the anime. But this is a bunch of side stories, and I don't know if a lot of these novels, I haven't read any of the novels yet. This is the third one, I believe, Signs from the Wind. And I'm not 100% sure if this is like after the Demon Slayer story or like this is just in between like the arcs and adventures. I'm not 100% sure how this goes, but anyways, I super enjoy it. It is super fun revisiting the Demon Slayer corpse. A lot of these novels I think have like kind of short stories attached to it, so if you really love the Demon Slayer series, you really like the cast of characters and things like that, and their personalities, how they interact with each other, stuff like that, you can jump into this and get plenty more. Now, I know I said I wanted to read the series before I got any more volumes, but I bought volume 5 of Go-Go Loser Ranger before reading volume 1, so this is it! This is it! This is the final volume that I buy before I start reading it. So I have 5 volumes now, just like with Elusive Samurai. I'm just going to stop buying volumes. I will fall behind. It's fine. And I'll read the manga. If I don't like it up to the 5 volumes, then I will stop reading, stop buying, and just give it push it on out. But if I do like it, then I'll just keep reading and I'll just keep getting it. Go-Go Loser Ranger is like a overthrow the government type story from what I've heard. And I've heard that it's good and it's getting an anime adaptation as well. So if you're curious about it as I am, but you want to wait maybe until like after I've read it, just wait until the anime comes out because it'll probably be around then that I actually have a decision. Another series that I heard a lot of people talk about when the first volume came out, but I have heard zero about the rest of it. I have heard zero about the other volumes, you know, as they've released and things like that. It's volume 3 of Uso Toki Rhetoric. This is a shoujo series from One Piece Books about like, it's a historical like detective series. This girl can hear lies and she kind of gets outcasted by hearing lies, but then she teams up with this detective guy and then they do detective things, right? Because she can hear lies and she can tell when people are lying. So like, very interesting type of premise, especially with the powers. I do think that this is a romance series, which I was kind of hoping it wasn't a romance series, but I think the romance is more of like a B plot in the series. But anyways, I still have to read volume 1, but I've heard so many people hype up volume 1 and that it was so good and that it was so awesome, but I don't really know about the second and third. So if you've read a lot of Uso Toki Rhetoric and maybe you've read the second or the third volume, let me know in the comments how you feel about it. Like, do you think volumes 2 and 3 are just as good of this series, or do you think maybe it falls off a little bit, but it's still worth reading and still worth picking up? Have you read super far online or something like that and you're like, yes, this series is so good, just keep reading it, believe, just trust? Also, how many times have I said I haven't read this yet? How many times have I said that so far in this video? We're coming up to the back half of the haul, and the first one, now that we're done with the new releases, this is all the other random things that I've picked up as of late. The first one that I've got is Attack on Titan Before the Fall Volume 5. So it's been a long time since I've talked about Attack on Titan Before the Fall. I know that Attack on Titan Before the Fall Volume 1 was like my very first manga haul way back in the day, along with like Sword Oratoria Volume 1, the novel. And so I'm curious, I'm thinking I might have to reread the first 4 volumes, or at least get a synopsis of each volume before I continue on in this story. But I saw Volume 5, I was like, you know what? I should probably just start getting these, especially before Attack on Titan ends, like the anime. And so I have gone out, I have picked up Volume 5. This Attack on Titan series is before the original story that you probably think of when you first hear Attack on Titan. And so Attack on Titan Before the Fall, I mean, I read the first 4 volumes, and even though I don't really remember, I enjoyed it because I wanted to pick up volume 5 as well. So it's an enjoyable series. It's really cool as well to kind of see like some of the origin of stuff, and I'm curious how like this continues to build, especially towards the end. I think it's like 12 volumes in total or something like that. It is a finished, complete series, side story as well by Hajime Isayama. So I'm very excited for this. Another set of side stories, which is an adaptation of a side story that I already own, manga adaptation. It is more Danmachi, this one being volumes 1 and 2 of Familia Chronicle Episode Lu. Now, I have the Familia Chronicle Episode Lu novel volume up there already that I showcased in a previous video, but this has a lot of volumes in it. I think it's like double digit or so, like really close to double digit volumes in this series. And I'm like, how because the book is not that big. I'm like, how does the manga have so much? So I'm very curious about it. I love Lu, one of the supporting characters in the Danmachi story, and honestly, like one of the main characters in the most latest season of Danmachi. I've talked about it before. I absolutely love the latest season. I absolutely love it and how they're doing it in the novels as well. Very curious to see how it continues, and I really hope that this right here dives into more of her story, more of her origin, more of her familia before. Anyways, I'm so excited to get into these. I just decided to just get more of these because I love Danmachi and I love Lu, so like it's perfect combination, right? Another side story, this is an extra volume that was printed of the series after it finished. This is The Promised Neverland Beyond. This is I think this is like a collection of stories. Yeah, a collection of their best stories, including a special one-shot. So this is The Promised Neverland Beyond. This is meant to be something reading after you have read all 20 volumes of The Promised Neverland. I decided to pick it up because this is the first time I've seen it IRL. I know this is a newer release, I think released within the last like year or two with the story, and so I'm excited to get into it, especially just The Promised Neverland as a whole. I think I'm gonna read all of it and then put a video out about it eventually. I mean, I have so many videos that I want to put out. Another series that a lot of people have recommended to me that I would really like, I ended up caving and picking up the first volume of the Eminence in Shadow, volume 1. So this is like a parody series from what I understand. I haven't read it yet and I haven't watched the anime, but I've heard that this is like a parody series. It's like a guy in high school, his like main goal in life is to become this like super leader of a secret organization of some sort, and like he's like built this fantasy in his head of like this universe, but it turns out actually that this universe that he's created in his head is entirely real. And so I've heard beautiful things about the anime adaptation, about like how it's so funny, it's so action-packed, it's so good, and I'm curious to see how this goes because I don't know much else about this series, and I hope that the written version of it is just as good because that's how it got, you know, I think the anime adaptation. So I'm curious to see how it's talked about with Daisuke Aizawa, the world building and stuff like that. And I've got a pretty good feeling about this, to be honest. One series that I watched the anime a while ago, and now I'm starting to get a little bit of the novel slowly but surely. My Youth Romantic Comedy is Wrong as Expected, or I think it's shortened to like My Youth Romantic Comedy Snafu, I think is what it's called. But anyways, this is volume 2 of the original novels of the story that was so widely loved and so popular. I enjoyed the anime when I watched it. I thought it was really, really good. I don't think I finished the anime though. I think I've only watched the first season. So hopefully with the novels, maybe I jump into it, get a little bit farther than the anime, but I really liked it and I really enjoyed it. So I'm curious to jump into this. I think it's like 16 volumes in total or something like that. It's 16 plus an extra one, 17 or something of that sort. One series I did get though, and I did really enjoy, it is Fruits Basket. This is volume 6 of the collector's edition. If you love Fruits Baskets, especially the 2019 adaptation, the remaster, I guess you could call it, then you should definitely be picking up these collector's editions. These collector's editions are still plentiful, they're still relatively new, and it's probably your best bet on trying to get the series, especially because a lot of people are just like selling old shoujo beats stuff now for absurd prices. You're probably gonna pay an arm and a leg to get the original Fruits Basket volumes, and so it's probably best. And plus, these versions, these collector's editions, are super pretty and super nice, and they come with these beautiful full colored illustrations as well in the volume. So I recommend getting it this way. This is how I'm gonna do it. I think there's like 12 in total. They are a little bit more pricier than your average, you know, Viz Media or Shoujo Beat volume, because this is a collector's edition as well. It's like multiple volumes packed in one. I don't think it's a perfect like omnibus, like 2 for 1, but I think it's kind of around there of like 2 volumes per one of these. Anyways, if you want an intense dramatic isekai series though that has a lot of volumes, look no further than ReZero, Starting Life in Another World. I read this, very, very good. I've talked about it in several other videos. If you like kind of the isekai-ness of things, but you like, I don't know how to explain this. This guy, this main character, he can start over, but he doesn't know why the power happens, how the power happens, how many times the power can happen, things like that. And so the really cool concept of this series, of this isekai and kind of like restarting life constantly, is this series really dives into the fear of dying, because his power and stuff is unknown. Like, he doesn't know like if this is the last time he can die, and like the ways that he dies are so well written and so gruesome and insane, and it was an awesome, and volume 1 just automatically hooked me. I'm like, all right, I've read volume 1, I'm gonna buy all 20 some volumes that are currently out right now. And so now I have 8 of them. Now I will continue, and it's just seinen goodness. This also seinen series that's going on right now, Zom 100. I have jumped on Zom 100, Bucket List of the Dead. This is a near anime adaptation that is coming out on Netflix as well. I think it has like 10 volumes currently out right now, 9 or 10 at the time of this recording. This is a beautiful, colorful series, especially the covers. The covers are absolutely gorgeous, and I've heard several people just hype this to all end this series, so I've decided to jump on it. I watched the trailer for the anime on Netflix. It looks absolutely beautiful. It looks really funny too. So it is kind of that comedy action series, zombie apocalyptic series. And I think it's this guy who's like, he works really, really hard at work. And then all of a sudden, like, from what I garnered in the trailer, like, he gets wronged at work. And so like his hard work is put to waste, and he's like super depressed. But then, you know, he's talking about like, man, I want to quit my job. I want to leave my job. And all of a sudden, the zombie apocalypse happens. And so he's like, wait a minute, a zombie apocalypse is a perfect excuse to quit my job. And so like he goes through like his bucket list, I believe is how the story goes. But it's a really cool premise, in my opinion. I really enjoyed the trailer and stuff, and I'm really excited to get into this series and jump on the hype a little bit, because I mean, it's really, really funny, and it seems that way, and hopefully it continues that way. One series that I did like and enjoy, I read the first volume that was gifted to me by Yen Press, the Geek X Hitman. It was so good that I picked up volume 2 of the Geek X Hitman. This is a more recent release. It's not like a new release. I think it's been out for a couple months now, but the Geek X Hitman, this hitman, he's like the greatest hitman of all time. He quits, he stops. And so with a lot of stories like Sakamoto Days and things like that, candy and cigarettes, you know, you can't really get out of the business. And so this Geek X Hitman, he quit being a hitman because he turned into an otaku, like a heavy hardcore otaku, like more than me, I would say. And I have 1,500 volumes of books now. But anyways, he, you know, quits, and there's a lot of other hitmen along for the ride and stuff, including this character right here. It's a comedy, it's fun, it's goofy, it doesn't take itself too seriously, and I think it's really good. I mean, I thought it was fun. I mean, it's not the best series, it's not gonna be your favorite series of all time, but it's good enough to just continue reading and continue enjoying. So hopefully Kodai continues with this series and continues to pump out excellent volumes, and hopefully Yen Press continues to push them out. One series though by Rumiko Takahashi that is beloved, arguably her most notable work of all time. It is Inuyasha. This is volume 1 of the 3-in-1 Vizbigs, the omnibus volumes. I'm excited to jump into this. This is the first time I've ever seen volume 1 out in the wild, so I decided to jump on it. It's an isekai series. It's a like fantasy. It's either fantasy or supernatural. Either way, it's right up my alley of this series, and this is old school as well, so I love being able to jump into more old school series, stuff that really inspired a lot of series today. And so I'm really excited to get into Inuyasha and jump into it, especially another Rumiko Takahashi series on my bookshelf. This is the final stack of manga volumes. This is it, manga and light novels. I am so close to being done. I think this video is going to be under an hour and a half, thank God. So let's just get into it. First, we've got The Girl I Like Forgot Her Glasses Volume 1. So I have known a couple people before the trailer dropped for the anime that enjoy this series, that like this series. This kind of looks like your, I don't want to say typical rom-com, high school rom-com, and it's not really a teasing one either, but like, she constantly forgets her glasses, and so I think she puts this kid in like a situation where like she's really close, and him being a high school boy, he's like, oh my god, she's so close, like, you know, kind of thing. And so I wanted to get into this before the trailer came out, and when the trailer came out, I thought it was nice. I thought it was cool. I know there was some weird stuff with like the animation of like the fishbowl thing, but I enjoyed the trailer overall. I mean, that was not my favorite part of the trailer, but I enjoyed it overall, and I'm excited to get into this because it's just like a fun, goofy series. It's not anything that's like, oh gosh, here we go again. And she's kind of different, honestly, than a lot of other of like your female protagonists in series like this, because like her character design is a little bit different, and like especially with the whole glasses thing, it's just a little bit different than like Komi Can't Communicate, where she's just like really shy, or like My Dress Up Darling, or like teasing Tagaki-san. I don't know, it's just interesting. I'll read it when I get around to reading it, and hopefully it comes. What did come though finally is volume 13 of Haiku. Those of you that are longtime viewers may remember last month I got volume 13 of Haiku, but the whole cover was ripped because of a packaging error by Books A Million. So they very graciously just sent me another volume of volume 13, and so now I have 21 volumes of the series. I'm almost halfway done to completing just one of my no, I'm not going to say arguably, it is my favorite sports manga and anime. So I'm excited to get more into that, just like I'm excited to get into Laid Back Camp. So this is volume 1 of Laid Back Camp. I've heard so many good things about this series. This is like moe seinen, like cute girls just doing cute things and they go camping. This is an adventure series as well. I know some people that love this series, like my friend Edward Edge, who just loves Laid Back Camp. And so I've got volume 1. I'm excited to jump into it. I'm excited to go in and see what it's all about, the cute stuff as well, and hopefully I can continue to get the manga volumes. I'll probably have to get them through like Right Stuff and things like that, because I rarely ever see Laid Back Camp in like Barnes and Noble or Books A Million and things like that. I never really see them IRL, so hopefully I can get them a lot in the online. I've got 2 volumes here of another seinen series. This is One Punch Man 11 and 12. So I think there's like 23 One Punch Man volumes that are currently out right now. So I am about halfway to being up to date in these series. These are slow releasing series as well, One Punch Man. So you love comedy, you love action, One Punch Man is right there. I think this may be past season 1 of the anime. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've watched season 1, so I'm looking for One Punch Man to just refresh me on everything. And so hopefully I get up to date and up to speed on it. I've heard that the manga is superior to the anime, especially season 2. So I'm looking forward to just super enjoying a series that I already know I'm gonna like, this superhero comedy. And now I've got Fly Me to the Moon volume 7. So 7 of about 16 or 17 volumes in real life right now that have currently released in the United States. Fly Me to the Moon, like a supernatural romance series, just very cozy, very fun series. I've talked about it before. Just if you like that kind of thing, just like, I wouldn't say mushy gushy type of stuff, because I have read mushy gushy with Our Teachers Are Dating, and that is like borderline unbearable in my opinion. This is definitely not as much as that, but it is a fun, comfy series, and it is a very nice series as well. You know, the characters start dating in the beginning. It's not necessarily a slow burner. in terms of things like that. Like, you don't have to wait 23 volumes for characters to date. If you know what I'm talking about. But anyways, very, very good. I really enjoy Fly Me to the Moon after reading the first little bit of the series. So I will continue reading this and enjoying this, and just like I'm going to continue collecting, reading, and enjoying The Girl from the Other Side. So this is volume 7, 8, and 9. They're in the wrong order. It's going to kill me if I keep it in the wrong order. So I have 9 of the now 12 volumes that are in the series. I've got 3 more to go, the home stretch. I'm hoping that it goes on sale like it Right Stuff for the birthday sale, so that I could just grab it all in a like buyer's sale. But anyways, this is an interesting, beautifully illustrated gothic series. I loved volume 1. I loved it so much, and the trailer also for the OVA adaptation was also so good. So I'm really excited about this to continue on. I'll probably start reading it actually here soon, now that I'm almost done and completed with it. And if you want to get into it, because I do highly recommend it, get the omnibus volumes that I've put on screen right now, these omnibus hardcover volumes, because they're way easier to get. I'm not going to say the single volumes are like super hard to get, but if you're able to buy like collector's editions, you know, that's going to be the easiest way to get it. Another series that I got multiple volumes of is Mob Psycho. This is 5, 6, and 7 of Mob Psycho of the 12 that are out right now. I think volume 12 is very recent when it released, but the anime is done. It is all wrapped up. It was so good. It was so awesome. I love Mob Psycho, and at first I wasn't sold on the manga, because let me tell you, the manga in Mob Psycho is very different than the anime. It's like very similar, but also very different. It's almost like off-putting if you haven't fully watched Mob Psycho or something like that, but it is very good in my opinion. I really came to appreciate the manga the more of the anime that I watched, and so definitely, like, if you're looking to super enjoy it, I think in my personal opinion, the best way possible, read the manga first and then watch the anime, because the manga is a great, I mean, it's a great story. It's a really good and well-written story. So then you get like all that goody, and the art is very good too. It's just like, it's way different. So like, you'll probably like the art and the illustrations of the story and how it is designed. But then, in my opinion, my personal opinion, and you know, you don't have to have my opinion, the anime takes it a step further. It really breaks it out, especially the fight scenes. Oh my God, some of the best animation ever in anime, in my personal opinion. So read Mob Psycho. One that I just kind of picked up on a whim because I've seen it a couple times and I'm like, yeah, I'll read this. It is Ilia Sometimes Hides Her Feelings in Russian. Now, this is the first of 3 volumes I believe are currently out right now, and I don't know, I mean, this is interesting. This feels like kind of a teasing anime, so like Tagaki-san, Don't Toy With Me, Miss Nagatoro kind of thing, but like it says in there, she hides her feelings in Russian. I don't know what this means. I have not bothered to look it up and translate it, but I'm sure in this, I wonder actually in this is when she speaks in Russian, I wonder if it's like translated, like she says it and then in parentheses is like what she said translated. I'm curious if it'll do that, or if it'll be like she'll say it, it'll have like the little heart thing or whatever, and we are just left to the unknown if I'll have to go on Google and translate it. I don't know. I don't even know what I'd prefer. But anyways, I'm super excited to get this, just like the vending machine novel. I just happened to come by it, was intrigued, and I wanted to pick it up. I don't know. That's really all I have to say. The final couple series that I got, this one I got multiple volumes of the last month and got completely up to date. I have every single volume now. I have the black editions, all 6 volumes now of Death Note. I got volumes 5 and 6, the last volumes that I need of the Death Note story. I believe 5 and 6 are as well, are like the second part of Death Note, so which was really interesting in my personal opinion, because like Death Note, the first 4 volumes of the Black Edition are like the story that everybody loves, the part 1, as you could say, of Death Note. And then I think these 2 like encompass all of part 2, which I think is how it kind of goes in the anime, because I think a majority of the anime episodes, like 2/3 of it, are the part 1 story, like the L arc, I guess you could call it. And then the other 2 volumes and the rest of the episodes, like 13 of them or something, are Near and Lear. I forget what the other kid is called. But anyways, I'm excited now that I have them all. I really like Death Note. It's one that if you've never really watched anime before or whatever, it's one that you recommend. It's interesting. It's very like psychological as well, with like the mind games and things like that. I don't know. And plus, this is the best way to get Death Note in my opinion, because these black editions are sick. They're so pretty looking. But the final volume of manga that I have, before I show you some of the other stuff that's not necessarily manga in my haul, I've got Vinland Saga Volume 8. Vinland Saga Volume 8. I think there's 13 hardcover volumes out right now, with more on the way in the story. I don't know exactly where this is in the story because I haven't gotten up to date in the anime or the manga, but I read the first 3 hardcover volumes. I absolutely loved it. I love Vinland Saga. It is so good, and I've heard it just gets better and better as time goes on. So I'm very curious to see how Thorfinn evolves, changes, because I've heard he goes through a lot of really cool character development, especially in the season of the anime that is just going on right now, or ending at the time of this recording. I'm not 100% sure. Anyways, the most recent anime project. But Vinland Saga, very, very good. Moving on to just 2 quick things that are not necessarily manga, but that I got because I absolutely love it. I got A Silent Voice, the movie. This is, I believe, the steelbook, or at least like the DVD of A Silent Voice. It's arguably my favorite anime movie of all time. Man, I really got to do a heavy evaluation of anime movies that I've watched, because I love a lot of anime movies that I've watched, but A Silent Voice is like up there. It's up there with like Weathering with You as like number 1. I haven't really decided yet of what my favorite is, but I was able to get this on sale. Barnes and Noble, for anyone that doesn't know, I don't know if they're still doing it, but this was marked at like 40 to 50% off. I can't remember which one because I took the sticker off. A Silent Voice, in my opinion, is one of those series like Pancreas and stuff like that. It is not for the faint of heart. This is a heavy hitting story. Definitely, if you have certain things that like maybe trigger you in stories like suicide or things like that, definitely want to, look it up and maybe see, okay, maybe this isn't the story for me. But this is a beautiful movie. Like, I highly recommend it if you're able to watch it. Like, just, oh my God, do, because it is, oh my God, it's so good. I love A Silent Voice, and I wanted to get the steelbook, even though I don't really have a DVD player or anything. I love this story. So read and watch it. It's great. I think it's on Crunchyroll. It's probably on Netflix. It's in like 1 or 2 places. And the last thing that I got before signing off on this video, it's not really manga, but I picked up this amazing Spider-Man like collection, collector's edition book. This is absolutely gorgeous. And again, I've been on a kick of Spider-Man, and so I saw the regular version and this like collector's version, and I absolutely loved it. This is like a cool, if you're into Spider-Man, this is like a cool collection of like the old school comics, as you can kind of see in here. I'm probably doing a really bad job of like showcasing this. This is so freaky. This has like several moments in it too, where it's like, it has actual words like talking about the Spider-Man series. So I haven't gone through it all the way and like really seen all that it is, but I've really come to appreciate just like Spider-Man and comics and stuff like that. So I'm really excited about getting stuff like this to just add to the shelf of Spider-Man. I think it's really cool to have some of these things in my collection. All 80 some volumes, kind of probably done in a record rate of manga hauls, although this video is still probably going to be over an hour, but I hope you really enjoyed this video. This is awesome. The Right Stuff birthday sale is just around the corner. Be on the lookout for that. I've put my Twitch link here on screen in case we do stream it on Twitch. Just go follow me there anyways, or the link is in the description below as Discord as well, where you can talk about the series that you're enjoying, you love, want to talk about it with other people, anything like that. But that's all, folks. Thank you so much for watching. Please click on these other videos. I mean, I have more videos planned. I recorded like 4 of them. They just haven't come out yet, so be on the lookout for those. They'll be fun. But anyways, oh man, I'm so tired of traveling.